Welcome to the Scam Chronicles. I am Seb and I will not only be your host, I will actually be the first story on this channel. This came as a consequence of me being scammed for over £100,000 very recently. Unfortunately for me, I was unable to retrieve any of the lost funds, but it has now set me on a journey to try and help others avoid going through the same thing that I did. Now that I know what the scam is called a pig slaughtering scam, they operate out of China. I was brought in by a friend, but typically speaking, they sort of approach you directly. So my mate I had met up with in a long time. I used to work with him in the city. We're sort of drinking. It wasn't even the main topic. And he was like, look, I'm on these dating sites now, so things aren't too bad. I've actually met this girl from LA and she's really well off, mate. And I think she's in love with me. And I went, oh, bullshit, that's just a scam or something. So I raised it there. I said, hold on, this doesn't sound right. Anyway, we get talking, etc. And he shows me all these successful trades. And I go, well, that doesn't make sense. How can you make that much money in such a short period of time? And he said, no, it's 100%. I've taken the money out and I put back in and I take out and it's fine. And she's basically the niece of someone that works for JP Morgan and is getting secret trading nodes and when to trade at specific times. So again, I'm thinking, why would she give you that knowledge for free? No one's going to give you that for free. What's the benefit, right? And this is my downfall. So now that we're on the topic of why I put my money in, I did poor research. If I had something like this channel, I would have avoided being scammed. The problem I had is that I couldn't find specifically what was happening. So in my eyes, I thought it was a scheme called pump and dump. And me being at the top of the chain with these guys, a sophisticated group of people investing huge amounts of money all together at the same time, at a specific time, to pump and then minutes later dump it. That's what I thought was happening. And I asked him, have you FaceTimed her? Yes, I've FaceTimed her. I still don't go in, right? So we finish the night, the drinks are done, see you later, you go home, I go home. A week goes by, sends me a text, bro, this is amazing, I can't believe it, my life's about to change, I'm gonna remortgage the house and put all my money in this. And I'm like, are you sure? And he's like, yeah, look. And he sends me screenshots of all the money that he's taking out and also what she's doing simultaneously. So they make the trades at the same time. And he's like, look, she's trading with 400 grand and said we can get there in like 4 or 5 months time if I just keep trading at the same pace, right? So I'm like, oh, interesting. I'm still like, I'm not in. Okay, look, go for it, mate. It's all you, whatever. And it was like the third, fourth week in, and he had made consistent profits. And he's telling me he's taking the money out, right? So I have no reason to suspect otherwise. I think one night I slept poorly, sorry, and I was up with my son and I was just not feeling great. And I just said, look, I'm going to give it a try, right? So long story short, I start with 10 and guess what happens? The profits come in. So it's 10 and I think it was 30%. So the first one works, I take out the money, I transfer it, it's all good. I take out the money, I spend something, just minor. I think I'm going to keep everything in the trader account. So just minor things like just buying a few things, a few takeaways, nothing special. I'm looking at the long game, right? I need to make at least, so I had everything on paper, I need to make at least the amount for a deposit for a house. That's it. And it has to be a minimum of 4 bedroom. I can't settle for less. I didn't trust it, but I kind of was, at that point I was in. It was like the point of no return. So I go, where do I go from here? And then it just sort of just kept happening. It kept working. They also did another thing to me, which is they told me, don't trade tonight. It's too risky. And I don't want you to lose your money. I mean, that's a killer. I mean, how clever is that? Come on. And then he told me, look, there's another girl that I talked to. And again, I should have realized here, there's another girl I talked to that happens to be part of a similar scheme, but isn't directly associated with the other. Okay, I was like, right. And he's like, look, instead of just making the same profits we're making now, we could double them because these are separate trading nodes taking place at different times. So again, I'm skeptical and I'm like, I don't know. And then I'm like 3 or 4 trades in and I'm actually off to a friend's wedding, right? And it's very luxurious, it's in London. So Arab wedding, everyone's well dressed. It feels very like it was just nice to be in that sort of element and environment, right, for a change. And I was there and I'd made all these successful trades and I said, you know what, I'm just gonna go with the other platform as well. Weirdly enough, I transferred from one of the trading accounts, which is a trading account, transferred it from there to Coinbase and then out again. So I had the opportunity to take that money back, but my greed is what got the better of it. Anywho, so I'm in a wedding, I'm talking to my friends, I'm like, life is good, I'm calculating how much profit I made, so I'm like, I guess at this point I'm like a week and a half in and I've made, I don't know, maybe 25, 30, maybe even more. I wasn't looking at that point. I just wanted to see it keep growing. That's it, like keep going, keep going, keep going, keep going. And anyway, I'm having dinner and I go, guys, I've got to take a break and go to the toilet. And it just was a moment in my life that I felt, I don't know, this feels like it's meant to be and it's happening. Honestly, I could taste the money. I was already looking at the car I've always wanted. So you feel like you physically have that money, which is the worst thing. It's like winning the lottery and having it all taken away from you. On top of everything, that you've genuinely lost money. And in my case, money that wasn't mine because I borrowed all the money from the credit card companies. So I was, well, I will be utterly, but I'll tell you exactly. So I go to the bathroom anyway. We'll go back. I go to the bathroom and I'm on loudspeaker. So you have to make these trades at a specific time at the same time, right? Cheeky have a good idea of trying to convince you to bloody think it's a real thing. So I do it, I press it, money goes through, and it's like, I guess in one trade, I think it was like 13.5 grand profit. I'm at a wedding, the night is young, it's 10 o'clock. I've just made that money. I've already got 3 drinks at the wedding, but it just felt amazing. I felt a sense of freedom like I've never felt before. And I think that's where I got hooked. And I think if that happens to you sooner, you'll put everything in. You'll sell your house to do it. It feels like free money. And although you know it's too good to be true, the rewards are just too high to walk away from. The only reason they blocked my account is because I tried to withdraw all of the money in one go. I literally got to the point where I'm like, I'm done. I've put everything I've got at one point because supposedly there's a big trade. And suddenly I have a realization that for some reason, I can't pull out my funds. I've made a good investment again. It's come through as it normally did, but for some reason it pauses. Error. There's a discrepancy with your account. We need to look into this. So I speak to customer support. At this point, I'm not 100% sure. It's difficult to tell. I'm thinking maybe it's for security purposes. It's a large sum of money. Fine, here, take my ID. And we go for the verification. And then they say, actually, you have to transfer over 10,000 USD, well, 10,001 to be specific, USDC, and we'll transfer it back to you. So I thought, I mean, I don't have that money available. Everything's in the assets. And they were sort of advising me that, no, you can't use what you currently have to pay that amount. It has to come externally from Coinbase, for example. So I transferred that money. I had to borrow it again. Borrow more money, transfer it, don't worry, I'll get it back to you by close of business. By the end of the day, I'll give you the money back because they said they were going to refund me. I do that and we hit another hurdle. The money comes back to me, but it comes back within the network where we were trading. So it was a trading platform, but we were vacated from Coinbase to this external trading platform. And that's where the issue is. It's not the people that are conning you are trying to get you to send them money directly. They're trying to get you to invest in a false trading network. And once the money is in their possession within that network that has a customer support team, they have a sort of traditional looking website. It looks a bit sketchy, to be fair, but they use the same name as they do as another big brand called Gemini, for example. By the way, I'm unable to recover any of the funds I've lost. I've now come to that sort of realization. And again, this is the main reason. I've got nothing to lose now. I mean, it was difficult because you think it's real and at the same time you think it's fake. So you're never 100%. I guess I was lucky that I got out at that point. Apparently when speaking to the bank, speaking to Coinbase, speaking to Gemini, the real website, you're not getting that money back. There's no insurance. You're not covered by anyone. No one cares. You're on your own. And when I mean that, I mean that. There's no way. The point of no return. And bear in mind, the money that I've borrowed is going to incur interest. So I've literally, and you're joining me on this journey because this is real time. This has happened within the last 3 weeks. That's insane. It's happening right now. You're following me on this journey to try and recover. Whether or not I make something of myself and I get out, or I don't, or I carry on in the same sort of debt and recovery period, it's still good for people to see, because I'm pretty sure there's other people going through the same. And I want to speak about everything on this channel. I want to speak about what your partners are going through, how it's affected your family. I think it affects so many people. The collateral damage involved with something like this is something that you're just not aware of until you're quite close to it. I used to watch TV shows all the time and say, that would never happen to me. I'd never get scammed. Never, not me. And I consider myself a savvy person. But yet, it was so elaborate and sophisticated that I reckon it could convince most people. Thank you so much for taking the time out of your day to watch my video and hear my story. We will be covering your stories moving forward, so please feel free to drop a comment below. A like on the video would be much appreciated, as it helps me on my journey to help others. And subscribe if you're interested in knowing a bit more about the scams that are out there. And remember people, stay savvy.